We've got a code red down here in Atlanta, and I'm not just talking about the Atlanta Hawks. I am talking about this Breitling Avenger Seawolf, and we're gonna get back to that and give you all the details. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about this Breitling Avenger Seawolf Code Red. So this is a limited production model. Only 1,000 of these watches were made. But I do want to kind of dig into some of the specs and some of the story behind it. It is a 45 millimeter case, 45.4 if you really want to get specific. That is going to be in millimeters. It does have the PVD coated steel, so you're going to know this as the Blacksteel version of the case. But I wanted to kind of go a little bit back and discuss some more of the more basic or foundational elements of this watch. So the model number for this watch is going to be an A17330 or an A17330, and we can actually derive a lot of information about this watch before we ever look at it simply from that model number. So the letter A or alpha, that's going to be the first part of this model number. That is going to actually refer to the material that is used in the case and the bezel. And in this case, alpha stands for steel in both the case and the bezel. Now that is followed by a series of numbers, and those first two numbers in that series, in this case 17 or 17, is going to refer to the movement that's inside the watch. So in this case, it's going to be a Breitling 17 movement, which is an ETA-based movement off the 2824-2, which of course it's got a 42-hour power reserve. It is time and date only. You're not going to find a chronograph or any other complications within this watch, but it's a very wonderful movement that has a lot of history and track record. And it's the perfect watch it's the perfect movement for a watch that's going to be used or can be used in such extreme conditions. Now, there are a couple of other elements that are definitely worthwhile and worth speaking of. And I kind of want to start with the Avenger itself, because that is a watch that debuted back in 2001, but it was a part of the air universe, right? You've got Breitling with the sea, air, and land, and the Avenger was a part of the air universe. But this watch has a 3,000 meter water resistant rating. It also has a helium escape valve that's built into it. So it goes beyond just worthy of the air and for pilots. This watch can be used in any saturation diving, the deepest that I would ever go in the ocean, most scuba divers, this watch will get you there. So of course I said it was a part of the air universe, but it's got all of these sea features, right? It's got that water resistance, it's got a screw down crown, unidirectional rotating bezel, which is, standard for a diving watch, because we don't want to manipulate that tool function to where it could accidentally, represent that you have more oxygen left in your tank. At the end of the day, safety is most important. And one of the fantastic things about the way that Breitling produces or manufactures these watches is that they are designed to work under extreme conditions. So when you're in a position where your life is on the line, something like a watch that seems like maybe an extra can be very important, and having it work in the same conditions that you are exposed to is extremely important. So for those that don't know the conversion, 3,000 meters is roughly 10,000 feet. So it's pretty deep. I'm not going to go down that far, but if I was, I would want to take a watch like this that would have the ability to keep time accurately and consistently while I'm under the surface. And I also want it to continue working as I surface, which is or as I rise to the surface, coming back from the depths. And that is part of what the helium escape valve does. You'll notice on this watch that the helium escape valve sits flush with the case. A lot of diving watches out there will have this technology of the helium escape valve, but it almost looks like another crown. It's gonna be sometimes at 9 o'clock or 10 around this, upper portion of the dial on the 9 o'clock side. And a lot of times you actually have to manually screw it out to use it. I find that can be a little hindersome if I'm in a situation where my life is on the line, or I'm, at the edge of death down there that deep where there's not a lot of light. I don't want to be thinking about what I need to do to make my watch work. I just want my watch to work so that I can focus on the more important tasks at hand. Now, this watch is obviously, if you know, I said that it was a code red. Obviously, you can tell just from looking at the watch where that name comes from. This is a black watch. It's got a professional diver strap on it that comes in black. It's got a black bezel, a black dial, but all of the accents are either going to be red or this white luminescent material so that you get that legibility when you're in those deeper parts of the ocean or the sea where there's not as much light. Now, I want to dig in. This isn't just a regular strap. This is the Diver Professional 2 strap. So it does come in a 22 millimeter size, which is going to be the lug width. So come check it out at SwissWatchExpo.com. Again, this is a limited production model. There were only 1,000 of them made. I know which one this is, but I don't want to tell you. I want you to actually come to the website and you'll actually find a picture of the watch, and on the back of on the case back, you will see engraved which one out of 1,000 this is.